The International Energy Agency put out a report saying that global car sales in 2024, so a year and a half ago, was around 80 million cars. Now, of that in pure internal combustion engine sales worldwide since 2017, so over a 7-year span, declined by 30%. You go, oh, EVs are dying. Oh, it's like, well, actually, that's not what's dying. Internal combustion engine cars have gone down in sales by 30%. Now, and at the same time, worldwide, we're now having multiple countries that are over 50% of all new car sales are EVs. The US just happens to be sticking down around 10. The US is the one that's dragging behind. China and emerging economies, so not just China, but emerging economies, represent half of global car sales, a 20% increase since 2000. Now, China is almost 1/4 of all the world's car sales. I think they sell 20 million cars and out of those 80 million. But of those 20 million, more than 10 million are EVs.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's staggering how much they produce there. Europe and North America each contribute about 15% of world automotive production. So the US and Europe only produce 30% of the world's cars. China accounts for 40% of global automotive manufacturing now.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You just can't stand still with technology, because just because you don't like it don't mean it'll stop. It'll never stop. It'll just grow up around you, and then you get left holding the bag. I remember my orientation with IBM years ago. They were saying that Russia was one of the first to do, multi-bit processing computers in the early 50s. And then they got stuck. They couldn't get any new parts. And then IBM came in, took the lead, and Russia's not even on the map again. So to stand by the side and says, "Oh, we're not going to do anything about it," just means you get left behind when other countries now are going to surpass you in product. Technology never works like that.
Owen, I don't know what the percentage might be for Mexico. So the article only talked about Europe and the US. I would imagine it's less than that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10%. So, but I don't know what that might be. Automotive accounts for 6% of global steel demand and 17% of aluminum demand. But although that's much higher in major automotive economies. Shanghai operates 26 battery manufacturing facilities. Just the city of Shanghai. It represents about 5% of global capacity. Chinese firms control around 80% of battery-related manufacturing capacity. Now, I know they're dominant in battery storage and all that. And it's funny with the pivot that Ford and GM are making on some of their EV production. They're now trying to take their battery production and scaling it over for battery energy storage systems, because that market is predicted to 10x in the next 10 years. Yeah, I mean, and of course, what are you usually using the battery storage to back up? Usually wind and solar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because other sources like LNG, you can just turn it off and turn it back on. The energy is the storage system. Or I'm sorry, the fuel is the storage system. Manufacturing cars in China costs less than in advanced economies, particularly for EVs, largely due to large-scale production and extensive vertical integration. And they're doing a lot of robotics over there. People always think it's because of the cheap labor, but they're automating a lot of processes.
And I wonder what is going to be the effect on the power grid when all these Optimus robots. I mean, when you start talking about, even though the batteries are less significant than vehicles, when you're plugging in thousands and thousands across the country, that's going to do something. That power has to come from somewhere, you would think, right?
Well, maybe the robots will be smart enough to plug in when the grid is less stressed.
Yeah, they'll know. They'll get that signal from Elon and say, it's time, baby.
But, you know, um, just saying, it's funny to see some of these things change. But it's nice seeing, some US battery production, but now it seems like so much of that is shifting into the energy storage systems.
Which means to me that prices overall, because you already had the manufacturers doing storage solutions. Now you add another major player to that, price has got to drop.
Well, they have dropped dramatically. The clip you just saw was part of our live podcast. If you enjoyed it, don't miss out. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday right here on EV World News. We stream not just on YouTube, but also on Facebook and X, so you can catch us wherever you prefer. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share to help us grow. If you'd like to support our work, please consider becoming a YouTube member. It really helps us bring you the latest EV news and insights. I'll see you in the next one.